Hello everyone and welcome back to Every Duquesa Dot. Okay, so I am setting up everything on my computer and I am trying out for the first time to film this. So let's see if this will work. My plan for this page, and this is something that I started last summer and I go back to every so often. This is exactly the one that I've been working on these past few days while working on the watercolor pages. So, but I still had some pages that I had not finished, and I'm going back to them. Like, I don't know if I shared this one before, but this is a page that I created by adding different samples of things for the classes. And as I kept adding things for them to see how they would look, it ended up like this bottom part. And then all I did was to finish the top part and added this to make it a page. But it wasn't planned. It just happened little by little by adding different things that I was showing them of products like a stencil and some splattering and some brushwork and then this stamp. And then I just finished the page by adding that. But I still have some pages on the left that I wanted to work on. So I did these two. And the one that I'm going to plan for today is this one. So I'll be working on this in steps and seeing if this video editing will work for all of you for the process videos that I used to share. What I'm planning for this page is some watercolors so far for the background, and I used the Jane Davenport set, and this is the neutrals. So the color that I added on that background is this cocoa. That's the color that I've applied to the whole background, leaving this section here darker and the top lighter. But then I'm planning to add this piece here by painting this with acrylics and maybe adding some more watercolors to the background on here. And that way I think it'll look kind of interesting with this neon color painting that I did here last summer that I added this moon to. So it'll be kind of mixed media and dimensional on both sides, but different themes, but still like nature oriented. So that's my plan so far. And I'll start the work on this, and then we'll see if I can do the editing and all the process so I can share this video with you. So I'll be back as soon as I get the colors for this and start painting this separately so I can add it to the page later on, and then keep adding. I'm thinking of adding some extra vines that go with this section here. Okay, so for the colors that I've chosen this silver from Liquitex Basics. That's what I'm going to be using for the cage. And the reason for that is that I think it's going to match well with the moon that I have up here. So instead of making it gold or a copper color or anything like that, I'm going to go with silver so that it matches well with this here. And then I'm planning on using this blue from Folk Art. It's a blue sapphire for one of the birds, and then this purple. This is called Amethyst. This is going to be the bird colors so far in my plan, and then I'll be adding some of these, the peridot for the leaves and the stem for the vine, and then I'll see what color I use for the flower. I'll probably use like a magenta color or something like that so it pops out. So I will start out with the actual cage. Okay, so far, this is where we're up to. And if you can look at it closely, I've marked, oops, come on, focus, please. Let me keep it down a little bit. But what I've done is I've marked all of my cage, and I'm keeping my birds outside of the cage because they don't want to be caged in. but they're in front of it just to symbolize what could be their captured. So it's a very tempting home, but they want to be free out in nature. So that way, these 2 pages will make sense and not make them suffer. So anyways, I've done my silver so far. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to let that dry a little bit more. I've already done 2 coats on that. And I'm going to go in and color my birds with the silver, the amethyst and the sapphire. And then I'll do my vine and then the flower. And then I'll come back and share. Here we go. This is the bird cage finally painted. So if you can see it here, that's the way I paint it, and I can't stand that it doesn't focus. It's still drying. I just painted the flower right now. But what I'm planning to do is to add this to that background in the taupey brown color. And I was going to add it with watercolors in the background, but I think, I don't know yet. I might start the vines with watercolors and then add some of this acrylic paint just so that the vines match the shimmer of the metallic paint that I'm using on this. But I might start it out with the watercolors. I'm just not sure yet. That will be my next step, and I will come. Here we go. And I'm not going to use the Jane Davenport because the color that I wanted to use is not in that case. I was going to use the Decadent Pies from the Prima set, and I don't think I'm going to use that either. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to add more of the acrylic paint that I was planning to add before, because I think that what I want is for it to blend well with the color that I have on my vine here. I've already glued it down to the page with some gel medium, and what I'm gonna, and I drew, I don't know if you can tell, but I drew it with pencil. So what I'm gonna do is try to attempt to make it look like it's connecting to the already existing vine on the wood veneer piece from Michaels that I was generously given. And I'll just finish my page by adding these. I don't know if I'm going to add some stamping or some other detail at the top later on, maybe with a gold or something like that, so it doesn't distract from the main focal point, which is my bird cage and the birds that are free from it. But I do know that I want to keep the vine to the bottom of the page so that it anchors it to the bottom of the page. So what I'm doing right now is just following the pencil lines that I drew. Oops, sorry. Seems like I have a little message here on the phone that I'm holding next to me. Let me take this out. So I want to keep this one thicker so that it looks like it's this one coming down from here. And then I'm keeping this one thinner because it looks like it's connecting from this thinner one here. I just thought I'd share my thoughts there. lift it up a little bit here so that you guys can see it. Hopefully it will stay in focus and you guys can get to see the vine coming from behind my wood veneer and mimicking the one on the piece. I will probably, at some point when this is all dried up, I'll probably go back and add some more detail to the feathers of the wings here because I like to do that. So I'll just probably go with a darker purple and a darker blue to add more detail to the wings and maybe some white. I don't know. I'm going to play with that to have them look a little bit more realistic than they're looking right now. And I have to find out what I want to do with this because it's too empty. So I'll end up adding something maybe in a brown or something like that that doesn't compete with this, but adds some texture to the top part of this page so it's not as empty. I just don't know what I want to do there yet, but I'll figure it out. And as soon as I have that done, I'll come back and share it with you. Hope all of you enjoyed this new share. These are the colors that I use. I use the garnet red for the flower and the sequin black for the eye. Those were the other two metallics that I added to the birds that I hadn't shared before. And I also added the Liquitex Basics gold. I've decided that I am going to try, hopefully this will work. I'm going to add this template from the Crafters workshop, and it's some vines with a bird. Let me see if I can show you. See that one there? It comes with cages and everything, but what I'm planning on doing is adding this part here to this background, and this one is called Mini Birds and of a Feather. So I'm planning to add that with some distress inks, and I am loving these tiny little inks. These are, I think this is set 1, 2, and 3, and eventually I want to be able to get all of them like this, but that's going to take me a little while. But so far I have 1, 2, 3, and then I want to keep on going and having them stored like this so that I can use them for different projects. So I'm in love with that. Let's see if this works. I'm going to just try that out. So I'm going to switch this little one that I have here, and I have my little sponges on the bottom with each, which I love that I can store that. Yeah, so I'll do that. Oops, yeah, it's getting late and I'm a little bit distracted. But I'm going to play with this and see if it works out, okay? So I'm just going to add some ink. Oops, I'm sorry that I'm always shaking. Let's see if this works out, okay? Let's add this to the top part here and see what happens when I do this. Because all I want to do is add some texture and interest up here without distracting from my main image. So I'm hoping that this little detail here is going to add something interesting to the top of it. Here we go, let's see. Let's see how far I can take it, because since I already have my veneer piece on the background, it might not let me go in too close, but I know I can manage something with that. So that's kind of interesting. And let's see if I can, okay, let me switch this and see. And this is what it looks like now that I added all that. Let me see if I can put this here so that you guys can see it, because it's, yeah, so that's the page now. It has the vines at the bottom, right there. Can you see them? And then those brown ones at the top, as if they were like further away. And I don't know why my computer is not like letting me, not my computer, but the video camera is like not helping too much. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Oops, sorry. Yeah, that was fun. So thanks so very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it to the last minute after adding all of that. And I got cut off when I was editing, and the Liquitex Basics gold was the one that I added to the beak of the on the birds. I also added a little bit more of the detail onto the wing part there. Not too much because I don't want it to be too busy. But I just added some little contrast there and a little bit here. It just has a little bit more of a shimmery purple mixed into that and a little bit more darker purple there. So far, I'm leaving it as it is right now. Hope you liked it. Hugs and kisses. Besitos to all and take care. Bye bye and see you soon.